Hello, Guru here, and today we are ranking the. Shoot. Sorry about that. But today we are ranking the bug Pokemon for the Hoenn games, which includes Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Now, the very first bug Pokemon you get, Wurmple right here, he's the first one to get ranked. And I guess I should clarify exactly how I'm ranking this. So I'm doing it kind of for just like how good the Pokemon is in general in the game, but also how good it is in the compared to other bug Pokemon, because a lot of these just don't stack up to other Pokemon. And I'm also considering different points of the game, when they're useful. So Wurmple, it's D tier. There's nothing about it. Same for Silcoon and Cascoon. There's just literally nothing to say about them. You only have them for a short time before they evolve. Now, Dustox versus Silcoon, or Dustox right here versus Beautifly right here. You'll notice, you might remember that I used Dustox in the final battle and not Beautifly. That's because Beautifly is pretty bad, I think. It's got really bad stats. It's only decent at special attacking, but it's bug flying, which are physical types. And this is before, the special, or before they split up physical and special type attacks. So it's not that good of an attacker because of that. Because it's only got good special attack, but it's not even a special type. It kind of serves as a surrogate grass type, for a while in the campaign if you're only using bugs, which, has some value. It's just, you're just doing really poor damage. So Beautifly is at best C tier, if anything. Actually, I think, honestly, these bugs, the bottom bugs, you can't do anything with them, and you only have them for a short time. So Beautifly is going in D tier, because honestly, Beautifly is pretty bad. It's just very hard to get good use out of it because it is so frail, and its attack just ends up being pretty bad. Like Stun Spore can be helpful to have, but it just brings very little to the table. So now we have Dustox, who I think is going in B tier, because Dustox is surprisingly tough. Now, Dustox isn't a good attacker, but you don't really need him to. You might have noticed him on the Elite Four that I was kind of using him to kind of stall out moves and tank and stuff. And he, especially he has the unique ability. Well, he has a unique niche in being he can poison an enemy, and then he can just kind of survive for a long time until that enemy dies out. So honestly, Dustox is surprisingly good because it's surprisingly tough, and it can whittle enemies down just by poisoning them and surviving. So I think that's easily B tier. Shedinja. Okay, so now we're going to go to Nincada. Now, honestly, I think Nincada is C tier, which might sound a little bit odd since that's above Beautifly, who's fully evolved, but Nincada. So Nincada, it's not a good attacker. It's very slow. It grows it takes a long time for this thing to level up. But it has pretty decent defense. And it also has, a good type. So there's situations where it can survive a long time. And, you can almost take out Roxanne just by using this thing if you play your cards right. Or you can entirely do that. It doesn't scale well at all in the game, but it's surprisingly tough. With Leech Life, it can kind of stay in, and Sand Attack, it can kind of stay in for a surprising amount of time. And and it's surprisingly really good against Roxanne. So I'm putting that thing in C tier. Plus, it's just a cute little dude. Now, Shedinja, I think, is going in B tier. It's kind of a weird design where it either completely breaks the game or is completely unusable. Because, like, there's a lot of fights where the enemy doesn't have a super effective move, so they're literally unable to do damage to it. But there's also fights where even if they don't, they can still use something like a status condition or like weather, like hail, or just like to kill it, and it doesn't have a way to survive that. And and Shedinja is completely unusable against the Elite Four in the champion. I kind of did the math a bit. Oh, I just checked out what moves they have, and also it just kind of messes with the game because like you can only either like you kind of have to meta game to use Shedinja at all. You have to know what moves the enemy Pokemon has, and I don't know. I think that kind of takes away from it if you have to meta game. Kind of, I don't know. So Shedinja definitely, like, in some situations can totally break a battle, but I don't know. I mean, I like the Pokemon a lot. It's definitely one of my favorite Pokemon. It's super unique and super unique gameplay, but it's absolutely unreliable. So in some situations it's S, but in some situations it's D. So I think B is pretty safe. Now, Ninjask is the other Pokemon that can evolve from Nincada, who is there in C tier. Now, Ninjask right here, I think, okay, Ninjask is an easy S tier. If you've been watching my Nuzlite, then you'll see why. It's not very tough. That's the biggest thing against it, but it's super fast. But it becomes super great at the end of the game because it's just like super fast. It can increase its attack to be really good. But also with the move Baton Pass, it can easily pass on a bunch of attack and a bunch of speed to another Pokemon, and then that Pokemon can sweep the rest of the team. So not only is it's a good sweeper, it's like an A tier sweeper, but it's S tier for setting up other sweepers. So, like I did with Masquerain against the rest of the Dragon team for that Elite Four battle. So I think I think Ninjask up there is easily S tier because it's a great sweeper, but it's also super good at setting up other sweepers. Now we go to Surskit. Surskit, it's one of my favorite Pokemon ever. It's super cute. I love the typing, but it's not good. It's D tier. I wish with all my heart, mind, and soul that it was good. That it was something other than D tier, but unfortunately, it is D tier. It is not good. And then we go to its evolved form, Masquerain. Yeah, Masquerain is C tier. I mean, Masquerain, like, its ability to reduce... It's got Intimidate, which lowers enemy attack when it moves in to battle, which is pretty good. But, like, it's got the same problem as Beautifly here, where, you know, it is a special attacker. Like, its only good stat is special attack, but it doesn't have a special type. Masquerain can kind of fill the niche of, like, you know, knowing a lot of special type moves, especially water moves, ice moves, grass moves, and having a decent special attack to use them. So it can provide decent coverage, but it's not really good with them. So I guess if you want a bug Pokemon that can provide general special type coverage, it's okay, but it's really not that good. But so it's C tier. It can be used, but it's definitely not that good. So now we have Illumise and Volbeat here. I don't even know what they're supposed to be. Neither of them evolve from each other or from the same thing. I think they're supposed to be like cousins. They're found in the same place. They're pretty similar. Illumise, this is a tough one. She's probably either C tier or... Well, she's probably either C tier or D tier, honest. Well, I'm going to say C tier. Illumise. Illumise has the... Well, Illumise has the ability... Illumise is, like, surprisingly kind of tough. Not, like, super tough, but Illumise can last decently. Plus, she can restore health, and, you know, she has ways to lower enemy attacks, and... So, and she learns electric type moves, like a lot of them. She can learn electric moves, which can be helpful if you don't have access to a real electric type. And her special attack is okay. It's not great. So actually, yeah, I'm gonna put her lower. Like her value is like kind of stalling and like healing allies with the wish move, and which lets her like lets her like swap into an ally and like heal them a bit, like when the ally swaps in, and learning electric moves, which is decent, but she's not very good overall. Volbeat, I didn't use Volbeat this campaign because I couldn't catch one, but I've used it in the past, and honestly, I think Volbeat is better. Maybe Volbeat isn't as tough, or I think it might be similar. Volbeat doesn't have as good as base special attack. In fact, its base special attack is pretty bad, but it knows a move Tail Glow, which like really increases its special attack. So with proper setup, Volbeat becomes a much better pseudo-electric type than Illumise, though it does take, some time to get there. But I think Volbeat is better just because it can charge its own attack, which just lets it, do a lot more damage and bring a lot more to the table while being able to do similar things to Illumise. So now we move on to the two shrimp on the left, Anorith and Armaldo. Anorith is... Honestly, I think Anorith is D tier. It takes a long time to evolve. I guess it can learn a lot of different types of moves, but it's super forgettable. It doesn't really do a ton. Doesn't really accomplish a ton. It's not particularly great at anything. And its typing, honestly, just kind of ends up basically being normal type because it's bug rock, which sounds a lot like punk rock. That sounds like some kind of like alternative music scene in the Pokemon world. Bug rock, but it's pretty forgettable. I don't think it's particularly great. Now Armaldo, who's the big shrimp on the left, I mean, maybe he's supposed to be like pretty good. I mean, Steven has him on his team, but I don't know. I didn't find him to be very good. I don't think he doesn't learn very good level up moves, and I mean he can learn a good range of like TM moves, but I don't know. I didn't find him to be that great. I mean, I felt like he was too slow to be a particularly good attacker, and it felt like he wasn't tough enough in his type, and his typing wasn't defensive enough to really be that good defensively. So he's a B in my book. Like technically he should probably be higher, but I just didn't find him to be very useful. Now Heracross, easy S. I think this is a tough one. I think Ninjask has the edge for being able to set up other sweepers really well. I mean, but Heracross, it's got insane attack. It's got decent speed. It's not that tough, and it is really weak to flying moves, which can be an issue since a lot of Pokemon know those, but just with the moves it can learn and the damage it can do, it's just crazy. Now, Pinsir, I didn't use him this one. I've used him in the past. He's probably an A. He's basically everything I think he's kind of like everything Heracross can do, but worse, except being tougher. He's not 4 times weak to flying moves. I think he might just be a bit tougher. I mean, he also learns fighting moves, but he's not fighting type, so he doesn't do as much damage with them, and he doesn't have Heracross's crazy damage. So maybe he's a bit more balanced version of Heracross. But thank you for watching. This is my tier list of the bug Pokemon in Pokemon Ruby. And you might find this kind of funny to hear. To make this video, I had to download these images. And it was just like Googling like Pokemon Wurmple, Pokemon Anorith. I did it so many times, Google like made me confirm I wasn't a robot. Because I was just Googling the same thing over and over. So that's kind of a funny anecdote. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye.